What's up everybody, JustinWatchesMovies here with a special video for the Lawn Gnome's channel. He is running a special video series on his channel where he is recapping the 10 years of Marvel Studios movies in honor of the new Avengers Endgame movie. We're looking at the movies from 2008 all the way to 2018, from Iron Man to Avengers Infinity War. And so he got a group of people together to do a special video just talking about the first 10 years of Marvel. So we also had some other people like Zach Pope releasing a video where he talked about Guardians of the Galaxy and why that was his favorite movie. I was trying to think of something doing a little bit different because I know I have a ranking video coming out next week for Avengers Endgame. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to look at each year that Marvel has released a movie and pick out what is the best movie that they released that year. So we have 2008 all the way up until 2018. There was one year that they did not release a movie, and that was 2009. So we're going to skip that year. And there was also 2 years where they released only one film. But we're going to go through every single year, talk about the best film of that year, and just have a quick little discussion and celebrate Marvel's 10 years of making movies. So let's start this list off with 2008, the year that started it all. We had Iron Man and The Incredible Hulk. Now, out of these two movies, what is my favorite? I'm gonna have to go with Iron Man. Iron Man is a great film. Robert Downey Jr. does an awesome job as Tony Stark, really captures this character really well, and I like the setup for the character and his progression to becoming something much stronger than what he was previously. The suit looks really cool. The villain is a little bit weak, but overall Iron Man is such a great film. 2009, there was no Marvel film, but we did have one Marvel film in 2010 with Iron Man 2. I vividly remember seeing Iron Man 2 in theaters and just being really disappointed by this film. Iron Man 1, it was a great film. Iron Man 2 was just a big disappointment to me personally. Just really over the top, corny performances. Whiplash is a pretty bad villain. Robert Downey Jr. does a good job as Tony Stark once again, and having Don Cheadle as War Machine is a great addition to the film franchise, but overall it's just a movie that lacked heart. It lacked some good action sequences. It's just a movie that I really did not enjoy, and it's a big bummer because it really started off Iron Man series really well, and then it made something really bad. 2011, we're now moving into Thor and Captain America, the First Avengers. Out of these ones, it's an easy choice for me personally. Captain America, the First Avenger is my favorite of the two. I really don't like the first couple Thor films, but Captain America, the First Avenger does a great job of capturing what I really love about Steve Rogers, someone who's willing to go out into the battle and not know what the battle is and just risk his life. His friendship with Bucky is handled very nicely. Chris Evans is amazing as this character, Steve Rogers, and he's done a great job throughout the years capturing all the great characteristics of Steve Rogers. This movie had a great feel to it. It's a little bit corny at times with his dancing sequences. Red Skull's a pretty cool villain, but overall Captain America, the First Avengers is something that I've always loved. And a lot of people hate this movie, and I could see why, but I really like the character Captain America, and I feel like the First Avenger did a great job setting up this character. 2012 had one movie, and that's okay by me because it was the Avengers movie. The Avengers is just an all-around great comic book movie, taking all of the characters that were previously set up in their own standalone films, and a couple of them that did not have a film like Black Widow and Hawkeye in this movie together, and you just felt just something was happening, like something truly epic you were experiencing, having Iron Man and Captain America and Thor, Black Widow, Hulk, Hawkeye all in one film was something that we were building up for a few years, and we were getting it, and it was just all around an amazing movie. A lot of heart, a lot of humor, really great action sequences. Watching them all in one film was something that I never could imagine, but we got it, and it's truly amazing. Moving on to 2013, we had two movies that year. We had Iron Man 3 and Thor: The Dark World, which was the second Thor film. Both of these movies are really bad. This is probably the worst year for Marvel in general. Iron Man 3 is my least favorite movie out of all the Marvel films, so I'm gonna have to go with Thor: The Dark World as the better one. It is an improvement over the first Thor movie. It's grittier looking. Thor is still great in it, but it had a lot of issues that I like. It had a lot of issues from the first film. Still, those scenes on Earth are just really bad. I like the dynamics between Loki and Thor. Once again, there's a little more of it because the fans demanded more of Loki this time around, but it's still just a really bad film with a pretty bad villain. The movie just did not work. 2014 was a really good year for Marvel. We had Guardians of the Galaxy and Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Both really great films in my top 10 of all Marvel films, but Captain America: The Winter Soldier is easily the best pick for me. Not saying that Guardians of the Galaxy is not a great film, because it is, but Winter Soldier is something that's completely different from a lot of Marvel films. This is more of a political thriller dealing with the relationship issues between Captain America and Bucky, challenging Captain America to really consider what the friendship meant to him, alongside a really good story that kept me interested throughout. The movie also had some really great action scenes and just a lot of heart and a lot of deep emotions that truly captured how Steve Rogers thinks and what he views as a friend and how he's willing to keep that. 2015 was another big year. We had Ant-Man and Avengers: Age of Ultron. Every time I watch Ultron, it just dips lower and lower on the list, but I still like it a little more over Ant-Man. I do like seeing all the characters once again on the big screen, and the addition of Ultron and Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in here is great. I think they are all great additions to the Marvel films. But I don't like seeing all of these characters kind of doing their own things, and then we had like these little visions that were going on that kind of felt distracted to the main plot of the movie. But Hulk in here is great, and the Hulk Buster suit from Iron Man. There's so many little things in here that make this film really special, but there's also a lot of things that don't work in this movie. Like I said, those visions, and it just kind of things like it just felt distracted, and just, you know, little things here and there make this film not as good as the first Avengers movie, but still a really enjoyable film. 2016, another great year. We had Doctor Strange and Captain America: Civil War. Captain America: Civil War is easily the better of the two. It's one of my favorite Marvel films, in the top 5 for me. This is something that I never would have thought would happen. Would take Iron Man and Captain America, pit them against each other, and you have to decide whose side are you on. And so I'm on Captain America's side, obviously, but this movie made me think a lot about Iron Man's side as well, and considering his opinions and his thoughts as well. We had Spider-Man and Black Panther in here. It was just cool to see those new characters in this movie, and it's truly a heartbreaking film seeing Iron Man and Captain America fight at the end. I don't want to see that happen, but we did, and it's kind of sad, but also something that needed to happen to move the film in a different direction. And instead of having the same thing over and over again, we had something completely different, and it's just truly epic. 2017 was the first year that they released 3 films. We had Thor: Ragnarok, Spider-Man: Homecoming, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And so 2018 they released 3 films, and 2019 we're gonna have 3 films as well. I think next year, 2020, we're gonna have 2 films. But Thor, Spider-Man, Guardians. Best out of the 3, I'm gonna have to go with Thor: Ragnarok. Thor: Ragnarok is just something that is so different from the first 2 Thor films, and I really did appreciate something different. This movie was hilarious, a lot of great action scenes, the cool version of the Hulk, Thor just realizing that things need to change in his life, and the director behind this just ushered in something completely different for Thor, and I absolutely love this film. It is filled with great action scenes, funny characters like Korg. Valkyrie is awesome. Loki in here is great as well. Hela as a villain is pretty good. Overall, Thor: Ragnarok is just a fun film. Spider-Man: Homecoming is really great as well. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is not as good as the first Guardians, but still a decent movie. Now we're working on to the 10th year in Marvel, and the last year that I'm going to be talking about. We had Black Panther, Avengers: Infinity War, and Ant-Man the Wasp. A really successful year for Marvel, not just like in movie terms, but also money. We had Black Panther, that was a huge success, was nominated for Best Picture, and that's really great. But Avengers: Infinity War is easily my favorite movie out of all 3 and out of all the movies in Marvel Cinematic Universe. I've watched this movie about 5 times this month in April. in preparation for Endgame. It just gets better every time. The urgency for this movie is there. Thanos is a great villain. All these characters feel this mission. It's very important that they stop Thanos. And I love the tone that they set up for this movie. It is truly epic. One of the best comic book movies of all time. Infinity War is a movie that I can personally just sit down and watch over and over and over again, and I never get bored. It is so good. It's long, but it is worth it, and I absolutely love Avengers Infinity War. So thank you, the Lawn Gnome, for allowing me to talk about Marvel films, not on your channel, on my channel, but make sure to go over to the Lawn Gnome's channel, subscribe to him, tell him Justin Watch Movies sent you. Great channel. I love watching his videos. He's very dedicated to his videos. He loves movies, books, all things pop culture. So make sure to go over to his channel and give him a like. Thank you guys for checking out this video. You guys can check out more videos on my channel as well right over here. And make sure to comment down below with what are your favorite films for each year that Marvel has released films. My name is JustinWatchesMovies, and you guys stay classy, YouTube.